Hey, Danny.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Manuel and
Nice
Animal
to
Health.
meet you, Manuel.
Nice to meet you. Hey, did anybody come by within the Durvet network and talk to you about that champion product, JustiFLY?
They did, actually, but I still had a few more questions about it.
Oh, you did? Oh, how can I help you?
Well, I was wondering, how exactly does it work? So how does this work again?
Well, it's real simple, Danny, to be honest. It's what they call a chitin inhibitor. All flies have what you call chitin. Chitin's an exoskeleton. So what this does, in theory, as a fly goes from egg, larva, through its metamorphosis to its adult phase, this affects it in the larva stage. So when it hatches in the manure, basically, it turns out that its exoskeleton will never get hard, and within hours after he hatches, if you want to call it, it goes through his metamorphosis. The adult fly never turns into an adult fly. It's kind of more of a natural way to just
get rid of them.
Yes, sir. You want to start it about now. You want to hurry up and get it before the fly season's already too late. You don't want to wait on this till like June or July.
Okay.
So we start early, we usually will get it in good control. The advantage to this product is that where some of the pour-ons or some of the sprays usually last 2 to 3 to 4 weeks, this one is a continuous program. It's very safe, and it will work on all 4 flies, not 1 fly.
Okay, 4 flies.
4 flies.
So explain to me the flies so that way I can tell customers about these flies.
Well, our 4 flies, the number 1 fly that everybody thought about first was the horn fly.
Okay.
And that's usually the one that's upside down.
Okay, I've heard of that, yes.
Yeah, and most people wouldn't believe it, but from the midline of their back all the way underneath to the belly, they're always wingtips up, 99% of the time. The male is pretty much whole specific, I mean he has no reason to leave. The female is the one that leaves and then goes lays her eggs, and then she always flies back to the nearest host. The next fly that we worry about, which has actually surpassed the horn fly, is the stable fly.
Okay.
Economic threshold for a horn fly is 200 flies per leg. The economic per animal, 200 flies per animal. The economic threshold of a stable fly is 5 per leg. And because people around this area and all over the United States started feeding round bills and hay, now we're seeing more and more influx of stable flies. That's where they like to lay their eggs. So once the hay gets in combination with the manure and the urine, we start building stable flies.
Gotcha.
After that, we got face flies, which like cold temperatures. Those are the ones that usually stand around the eyes and the muzzles of cattle. And she has to be around the eyes because the female face fly needs the enzymes for her eggs to be infertile. And then last but not least is the house fly, which is the toughest one of all, because that fly travels in the larva stage, which makes it difficult. So you do want to have this product out there.
Okay. So Manuel, tell me, what's the easiest way to use this?
Well, the label instructions turn around and say you're supposed to mix this 1 or 2 bags with a bag of mineral, any conventional mineral that you're selling through your store. So ideally the producer would come in here, buy a bag of mineral, turn around, get a bag of JustiFLY, take the mineral, pour it in this mineral feeder, then turn around and put this on top, rubbing hands on it a couple of times. Nothing in this product's going to hurt you. And the old rule of thumb was real simple: 1 bag per cow per year. That's it.
Simple enough.
Yes, sir.
So let me ask you this: with all this, the ear tags and the pour-ons and the dust that I have, why a feed-through when I have all of this already?
The feed-through is actually easier. With every one of these other products, you got to either turn around and handle your cattle, pin your cattle, hope it's in the right path for your cattle. The feed-through, we already know they're going to consume a mineral. Just mix it by hand, turn around, let the cattle consume it. Another thing, all of these other ones are working on the adults. I'm working on the immatures.
Gotcha.
95% of the flies are not on the cattle. 95% of the flies are actually in the ground. So that's what I'm taking care of.
So tell me this, with all the other insect growth regulators they have out there, why should I go to JustiFLY?
JustiFLY controls 4 flies. The other one that you mentioned or are asking about controls 1 fly. If I'm going to feed an insect growth regulator 4 pasture cattle, and I know that a horn fly, a stable fly, a face fly, and a house fly are affecting my cattle, why would I want to feed one that just affects 1 fly?
Makes sense.
I need all 4.
So Manuel, you tell me it kills the 4 flies, but one of the main concerns with the ranchers out here is the dung beetle. Does it affect the dung beetle in any way?
Oh, that dung beetle's been around for a long time, and honestly, Danny, we're not going to affect that dung beetle at all. We did some studies in Brazil. We've done some also in the U.S. Statistically, 95% survival rate. We're not going to affect it.
So does this have any ill effects on the cattle?
None whatsoever. It's a feed-through program, so as the animal ingests it, 99.99999% of this product will go through that animal, ends up in the manure. Here it comes, then it starts to work. It's safe for cattle, no milk withdrawals, no meat residues, nothing like that at all.
So answer me this, how does the fly affect the cattle ranchers' profits?
Economically, flies, the 4 flies are costing the cattle industry about $4.2 billion a year.
Billion.
Billion, not million, billion. And the stable fly is now the #1 problem. That fly is about 1.2 billion. Horn flies are around 750 million, followed by house flies, followed by the face flies. When it's all said and done, that comes out to about $50 per head.
Per head.
For the producer. So if a rancher has 100 head of cattle, multiply that out times $50 a head.
That's got a hit. Yep.
That's how much the economic impact is.
So Manuel, do I have this in the right spot in the store?
Yes, you do, Danny. I would say right where you got your other fly control products, that's the right place to put it.
And how much does this cost?
Around $14 a bag, which might sound a little expensive, but in reality, this product costs less than 4 cents per head per day to control the 4 flies.
So Manuel, this bag, is this the only way you market it, or do you have it in bigger bags?
We actually have it in a 12-pound bag as well. And recently we got the EPA approval. We're now nationwide. We're going to be in many local free choice 4-ounce minerals already mixed in. Don't have to mix it yourself. This is one option. The 12 pounds, the second option. The third option, you can ask your regional or your local feed manufacturer and see if they're handling it as well in their free choice program.